I gave you about 45 minutes. I think it's probably going to take about 30. That day, so we're trying to get out of class early. I am the new guy. I haven't met you yet. I'll try to make my way around. I'm working as hard as I can to remember names, but as long as I can remember her name Saturday when she was giving me what's my name. I don't know. So, but I do have it now. I'm telling you. That experience is permanently ingrained into my mind. So I'm trying to make my way around and get to know everybody. The system here. For those of you who don't know, I've been in Oklahoma Career Tech. I actually graduated from Tulsa Tech years ago. My dad just recently retired from Tulsa Tech. My mom and my uncle were both instructors over there. I taught for them out in industry for many years. Worked at actually up in West Watkins Tech down at Wetumpka. The first year, that was in 1989. Been about 14 years with Central Tech in Sepulveda primarily, training over at Drumright as well. The last 10 years have been out in Idaho. Asked me to come out. Actually, we built 2 of these tech centers out there. Now it's good to be home. I'll tell you, they don't have to get barbecue or pizza out there. But so I am familiar with some of the things that we do here, some of the things I'm learning. As this morning, as I was walking across the parking lot, I'm sure one of you sent a lady out there, a nice older lady, gets out of her car, walks along the side of me, and I said, "Good morning, how are you doing?" She said, "Fine." And she said, "It's clear to me that you're selling cattle today." Okay. And I do sell cattle once in a while, but I didn't know something today. And she said, "Really? How did you know that?" I said, "Well, one of your pants legs is stuck in your boot." I guess that's what we knew since I left. I'll try to keep that in mind. I'm not sure if it has to do with something to refresh myself on, so feel free anytime to educate. Today we're going to go over our topic today for safety training is heat stress. Getting ready to move into summertime, and so this is kind of a refresher for us to look at. Some things to think about as we're out outside. I actually moved my wife down here last summer, and the day we showed up, the count was 114 degrees. I don't remember, I grew up here my whole life. I don't remember ever getting 114 before. It got to be warm, so as we're moving into summertime, some things we want to think about. We've got actually 2 videos today, handouts for us to look at. The first one, I apologize, is a little bit cheesy. It's clearly marked in the 1980s, I think. But the second one, we'll try to give you a little more up to date on the second video. Yep, fire away.
Check this out. Hey, hands up! Sorry about that. Kind of got away from me. That's all right. No problem. Thanks. Oh, that's a good thought. Guilty? seem to have gotten a sunburn, and my sister and I are a little worried.
Well, let's take a look. Hi, my name is Corey. What's yours? My name is Green. You got that? Good name. Well, maybe it looks like you've got a little too much sun here. You could be okay. It's a mild first-degree burn. A second-degree burn will be much more trouble. You don't want to get in out of the sun today and probably tomorrow. There's something cool to drink, and in fact, something to do indoors.
How about the Marine Science Museum?
Oh, that's a great idea. There's plenty to do, and you'll be in out of the sun. When you do come back to the beach, you're going to want to use a sunscreen instead of tanning lotion. We apply it every 2 hours. Even worse, she's getting in the water a lot. And then the midday sun between 10 and 2 is the hottest, so don't want to come out before or after that time. Okay? You have fun and take care of it.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I'll see you in a little while. I'll bet you deal with sunburns all the time here.
It's a pretty common problem, even when it's double fast. That's why I like to recommend a good sunscreen. You know, the higher the number, the more it will block out sun's harmful rays. You have to be very careful when you're dealing with sun and humidity. It could develop a heat disorder.
But what?
A heat disorder. It's a term that describes any condition that can occur whenever you're affected by severe heat or humidity.
I work in a manufacturing plant. Sometimes things can get pretty hot, whether it's winter or summer. Can you tell me some more things about heat disorders to help me when I go back to work?
Sure, this is just the beginning of our tourist season, and I'm not too busy. It's very real time.
We were talking about sunburns.
Sunburns are dangerous.
They have been associated with an 85% increase in melanomas, a skin cancer. Also, sunburn keeps your body from performing a normal process called thermoregulation. That means when your body tries to rid itself of excess heat, sunburned skin is already hot and interferes with natural cooling. Heat comes from inside your body as a byproduct of metabolism, you know. All the chemical processes, such as digestion, muscle activity, that sort of thing. Heat must escape from your body at the same rate you produce it to maintain a stable body temperature. That's called thermoregulation. Then, when the temperature outside exceeds body temperature, you actually absorb heat from the environment. The result is a rise in body core temperature, and your cooling system kicks in. At that point, your blood vessels expand, carrying heat to your skin surface for release to the air. Sunburn raises your skin surface temperature, which makes it harder for your body to release excess heat.
That all goes on inside my body. Sounds complicated. But tell me, how do you know all this stuff?
Well, as a certified medical technician and a med student, I've learned that it's all part of the body's defense mechanism.
Another method of cooling your body is through perspiration. Your body releases fluids and salt to the surface to cool your skin. Heat is transferred by evaporation.
For this to be effective, your skin must be exposed to outside air.
The trouble is, when you work inside chemical protective clothing, you get hot and sweat can't evaporate. I guess that means you can't rid your body of core heat, and heat disorders can't occur. You know, I've even seen people pour water out of their boots after a job.
It's important for them to stop and rest and have a cool drink to replenish their system.
Another minor heat disorder that may be caused just by wearing tight clothing is heat rash. Moisture is trapped close to the skin, and sweat glands get clogged.
This causes itching and irritation.
No, that's no fun. Seems to me the solution would be to wear loose-fitting clothing to let perspiration evaporate.
Right, keep the area as clean and dry as possible.
Also, wearing light-colored shirts to reflect the sun and wick away perspiration helps guard against heat disorders outdoors. And wearing a hat will help keep your head cool.
So if I'm going to work in the heat, I should wear loose-fitting, absorbent clothing and wear something on my head to create a sunshade. But tell me, how important is it to have a drink nearby?
Oh, it's very important.
When you're working hard, your body loses salt and water due to perspiration. You need 5 to 7 ounces of water every 15 to 20 minutes. Dehydration or lack of water in the body can start a very dangerous chain reaction. A body that cannot perspire because of dehydration can't release internal heat and risk hypothermia. This increase in body temperature, if left unchecked, can lead to heat exhaustion or heat stroke.
I wouldn't want that. I want to be around next year to enjoy the ocean. Let's see, we talked about sunscreens, drinking plenty of fluid, wearing proper clothing. Are there any other precautions we can take to avoid heat disorders?
Well, sure. Alternative work cycles and periods of rest.
Something's wrong with my boyfriend. Come quick!
Stand 40 down. Multiple heat strokes. Request assistance. Excuse me. What happened here?
We were just walking on the beach and his muscles can't stop it. He fell over and saying something cramps.
I need some water, a wet towel. Somebody get an umbrella. Sir, can you talk? What's your name?
Jerry, certain what happened. Must be a hangover from last night.
Do a little partying last night, did we?
Yeah, I doubt it, too. Vacation.
Is he gonna be okay? Yeah, here comes Lieutenant James. He'll take over. Looks like heat exhaustion. Just started. We're trying to bring his core temperature down with a wet towel and provide some water.
Good job, Corey. I'll take over from here. These heat disorders are serious.
Exactly. You see, your body begins to shock, and that's when you get heat stroke. Plus, he's probably been out in the hot sun all day. Plus, he's had a few beers. Alcohol dehydrates the body. On top of that, his body's been trying to perspire to keep him cool, and I bet he started off the day with a big slug of caffeine. Caffeine's a diuretic, so his body's been losing both salt and fluid.
So, if you're going to work in a hot environment, it's best to avoid alcohol the night before and lay off the caffeine that day. You know, I remember from my softball playing days that salt is lubricant and your muscles need it to work smoothly. If you don't have salt, your muscles will cramp.
You're right. Muscle cramps can be a warning signal that your body is suffering from extreme heat.
Although sometimes you don't get cramps until you're already in trouble. Other signs of heat exhaustion are nausea, dizziness and fainting, chills, and lethargy. You must remember to drink enough water and to replace the salt lost by perspiration.
The muscle cramps can be your body's way of saying, getting out of the heat.
So, what does happen when you have heat exhaustion? I mean, how does it happen?
Normally, your body's surface blood vessels enlarge, allowing more blood flow to cool the body. In cases of heat exhaustion, those blood vessels collapse because of fluid and mineral loss.
Well, how do we build our salt level back up? I mean, I've heard salt tablets aren't too good for you.
We normally get enough salt in our daily diets. Salt tablets don't break down fast enough to be absorbed.
We treat heat injuries with a 0.1% saline solution by adding a quarter teaspoon of salt per quart of water. If you know you'll be working or playing in a hot or humid environment on any given day, you can use a little more salt with your meals before going out. Of course, people with high blood pressure should be careful about their salt intake.
The key to avoiding heat disorders is to be well acclimatized.
Yeah, I didn't bring my dictionary, so you have to explain that one.
I guess acclimatized is a $10 word.
More like a $20 word, but please go ahead.
It is the process of gradually getting used to the climate you work in.
How do you do that?
First off, you've got to be in good physical condition. The cooling system of athletes works more efficiently than those of less active people. Athletes perspire more and actually may lose less salt because their system is better tuned. If you think about how athletes train, they gradually increase their workload. You can do that by alternating work cycles with rest or lighter duty. Like an athlete, keeping your body in shape helps it to thermoregulate more efficiently.
As you gradually build endurance to exercise or work, your cooling system adapts and you become acclimated.
So, if you quit working in the heat for a few days or stop exercising, your metabolism gears back down.
Good guess. When you quit working in the heat, you start losing your resistance to heat within a week. In a month, it will be completely gone.
I didn't know our bodies had to adjust so much. Now, you talked about salt intake with our food. What about diet?
That's important too.
Most people don't realize that hot foods add to your body heat. Heavy meals reduce your body's ability to get rid of heat because your blood flow is directed to your digestive tract instead of your skin surface. Whenever you're working in the heat, make sure your midday meal is light and cool. Low-fat sandwiches, fruits, and vegetables are recommended. This allows your digestive system to more easily cook the foods you use, and it saves energy for your cooling system. Remember, as far as fluids go, you should drink 5 to 7 ounces of water or high-quality isotonic replacement fluid every 15 to 20 minutes, even if you don't feel thirsty. You see, the thirst sensation can come along after the time your body needs fluid replenishment, and cool fluid, about 40 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, is best absorbed.
What is a high-quality replacement fluid?
These are fluids high in glucose and fructose polymers and are easily digested. The body absorbs these fluids right away. If the drink is too full of sugar, the body can't rehydrate right away, and you may suffer from a sugar imbalance. That's when you get an instant spurt of energy and then you experience a real low.
All right. You know, Corey, medical hazards aren't the only way heat can be dangerous. Fogged glasses, slippery hands, sweat in your eyes can all cause accidents. In fact, I've noticed that accidents are more likely to happen in hot environments.
When your body temperature reaches the 100 to 105 degree range, disorientation occurs, which can result in loss of judgment and coordination. Another indirect danger of heat stress is its effect on the body when a traumatic injury occurs. Your body has a harder time coping with blood loss if you're already dehydrated.
I've seen heat exhaustion, so I'm afraid to ask her, what is heat stroke?
In a word, dangerous.
In a typical summer, heat stroke is responsible for about 200 deaths in the United States. And with heat waves, the toll may exceed 1,200. It is a medical emergency that requires immediate attention. Heat stroke can begin with the symptoms of heat cramps or heat exhaustion, and then quickly escalate to heat stroke. Rapid deterioration of the body can follow. When the body is used up with salt and water supplies, it can no longer perspire. Heat loss by evaporation of perspiration can no longer occur. The victim's body temperature rises to fatal levels very swiftly. Symptoms of heat stroke include body temperatures higher than 103 degrees, absence of sweating in most instances, hot, red, or flushed, dry skin, rapid pulse, confusion, difficulty in breathing, weakness, nausea, and/or vomiting.
Advanced symptoms include seizures or convulsions, collapse, deep coma, lack of a detectable pulse, and a body temperature of more than 108 degrees. Heat stroke affects the body at the cellular level.
As body temperature reaches 106 to 113 degrees, brain, liver, and kidney cells are destroyed, as is skeletal muscle. The mortality rate of heat stroke cases is about 10%, even with vigorous treatment. Causes of death include shock, cardiac disruption, loss of blood supply to the heart, kidney failure, and nervous system breakdown.
Heat stroke should be treated in the same manner as heat exhaustion, but with more urgency. The victim's temperature must be brought down immediately.
Immerse the victim in water, massage the body with ice, and call an ambulance immediately. Never give liquids to an unconscious victim.
Sometimes symptoms of heat stroke can be masked. In cases involving exertion, the victim may still be perspiring, and cool skin can hide a poor temperature.
It's scary. Heat stress affecting our cells? I had no idea a high body temperature could be so damaging.
Once you've suffered heat stroke, you can be susceptible to heat disorders for the rest of your life. So anytime you work or play in a hot or humid environment, indoors or out, be cautious and plan ahead. Acclimatization is the most important thing you can do to prepare for the heat. Also, maintain body fitness, make necessary changes in diet, replenish fluids and minerals, and use a sunscreen as appropriate. And remember, heat stress can lead to traumatic injury.
Well, thanks for the advice, Corey. You know, next time the heat is on, I'm going to try and stay cool.
Trust me, staying safe when you're out in the sun or working in the heat is cool. Very cool.
I keep expecting you to ask her for a phone number. Some good points there. I've got another quick video here in a second we'll go over. It's a little more of the industrial side of that, but just things for us to think about as we get out outside of the working or playing during the summertime. You know, I think we're bulletproof. One of the handouts that I've got for you, I pulled this off of the OSHA website. OSHA has a lot of information on it. So it kind of goes over some of the points that we covered that in this video, the 3 different types of heat-related medical conditions that can happen to us. Heat stroke, you'll see there at the top, against the most serious form of heat-related illness happens when the body becomes unable to regulate its core temperature. Sweating stops. You see somebody that's really overheated and they're not sweating anymore. The body prolongs to leave itself with excess heat. Signs of these, again, get you this in there chart. The bottom of the list things out. Your signs are confusion, loss of consciousness, and seizures. Certainly that's the most dangerous. Heat, exhaustion, which maybe we've all experienced heat exhaustion from time to time. chart was that it lists the illness, lists the symptoms, and lists the related first aid. Then you have a copy just to look at. So, anybody ever had heat exhaustion that you know of or something? Again, that happens not just to people, but to animals. And I know one of the worst stories that I saw a couple of years ago was actually out in Idaho, where a barrel race, the white barrel races, it was about 105 degrees, and those of us that do that, and heat, cool those animals down real quick. Outstanding horse. Watched that horse run a lot of times. Just got too wrapped up in the heat of the moment, winning, and ran it in 4 practice runs before she took it in. And the horse made a smoking good run, came right at my feet, hit the ground, his eyes rolled back in his head, and he died right there in my arms. I mean, it was a good lesson to that lady, and a pretty tough lesson to the rest of us that were around her. Mind you, what can happen. Okay, so our next video, get a little more industrial version. That was kind of the touchy-feely side. Get the more industrial side of that. And pretty much the same information. Get some statistics that are interesting.
The objectives for today's session are to recognize situations that can lead to heat stress and other heat-related illnesses. You will learn the differences as well as the symptoms of heat stress, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. You will want to know how the body reacts, what steps should be taken to prevent heat stress and other heat-related illnesses. And finally, you'll learn what types of basic first aid can be helpful when dealing with fellow employees who experience heat-related illnesses.
That wasn't my wife, by the way. I better point that out. Well, her horse. Somebody else's.
On average, 3,100 U.S. workers per year had a heat-related illness that caused them to miss work. Heat can build up in the worker's body and cause symptoms that range from headaches and dizziness to seizures, convulsions, and death. Factors leading to heat stress include high temperature and humidity, direct summer heat, limited air movement, physical exertion, poor physical condition, some medicines, inadequate tolerance for hot workplaces, and insufficient water intake. Types of heat disorders include heat stroke, heat exhaustion, heat cramps, and heat rashes. Hot weather causes more fatalities than any other weather-related source. According to the National Weather Service's 10-year average, there were 170 heat fatalities between 1998 and 2007. During the same period, the average number of fatalities caused by hurricanes was 117. Recognizing the differences between heat stroke and heat exhaustion are crucial. Heat stroke is a medical condition that is life-threatening. The person's cooling system, which is controlled by the brain, stops working, and the internal body temperature rises to the point where brain damage or damage to other internal organs may result. Internal temperature may reach 105 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Heat exhaustion often occurs when people work in a hot, humid place and body fluids are lost through sweating, causing the body to overheat. Temperature may be elevated but not above 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The illustration depicts a heat stroke victim with dry, hot skin on the left and heat exhaustion with moist, clammy skin on the right. Heat exhaustion comes from dehydration. The skin may be cool and moist. The victim's pulse rate will be fast and weak, and breathing will be fast and shallow. If heat exhaustion is untreated, it may progress to heat stroke, which is a medical emergency. Warning signs of heat exhaustion include heavy sweating, paleness, muscle cramps, tiredness, weakness, dizziness, headache, nausea or vomiting, fainting. Symptoms of heat stroke can sometimes mimic those of heart attack or other conditions. Sometimes a person experiences symptoms of heat exhaustion before progressing to heat stroke. Symptoms of heat stroke include fever, irritability, dry, hot, red skin, confusion, bizarre behavior, no longer sweating, fainting, rapid with shallow breathing, rapid with weak pulse, seizures. Over 20% of those who suffer a heat stroke die. The key difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke is the presence of mental status changes. When heat illness symptoms are presented, you'll need to respond quickly. First, move the person out of the sun or hot environment and into a shady or air-conditioned space. If fever greater than 102 degrees Fahrenheit, fainting, confusion, or seizures occur, dial 911 or call for emergency medical assistance. Cool the person by covering him or her with damp sheets or by spraying with cool water. Direct air onto the person with a fan or newspaper. Finally, have them drink cool water. If they're able, a half a cup of water every 15 minutes is a good start. If symptoms do not improve, seek medical help immediately. It is easier to prevent heat illness than to treat it once symptoms develop. If possible, acclimatize for up to a week when working in hot weather conditions. This allows your body to gradually adapt to the heat. Hydrate well before thirst kicks in. Once you are thirsty, you are already dehydrated. Drink every 15 minutes, or 6 to 20 ounces an hour. Wear light, loose clothing, such as cotton, so sweat can evaporate. Better yet, invest in wicking or cooling garments, like Cool Zone 10 or Miracle bandanas. Use sunscreen to prevent sunburn, which can hinder the skin's ability to cool itself. Wear a hat that provides shade and allows ventilation. If you feel your ability start to diminish, stop activity and try to cool off. Do not drink alcohol or beverages with caffeine because they increase the rate of dehydration.
Second handout that I've got for you is just again a recap. Material covered with that document. So when we're teaching, we try to tell you what we're going to talk about, tell you the information, and try to tell you what we told you. Now, it's the first time I've ever done this, but I want to move into the high-tech world with the help of Darlene here in a minute. Doing research, trying to get ready for this presentation today. And my wife has talked me into a iPhone. So Ocean now, again, this is moving to high tech as well. They've got a new app for your phone. I actually put it on my phone today. And you can actually download it if you just go into your app store. And type in OSHA Heat Safety Tool. The way this works, I'm not sure if that was interactive or not, but you put in the temperature and humidity and it'll tell you, see if you can calculate there. Cautious. It's not interactive on the screen, but on your phone it is. It'll calculate for you what your heat index is, what the risk level is, and when you click on precautions, it basically goes through the same material that I just handed out to you. It'll tell you what steps you need to take as a precautionary, and then also what you need to do if you start to suffer some heat-related illness there. But it's pretty handy to have on your iPhone. Well, any questions that you all have? By the way, your app won't work today. I tried it. It has to be above 80 degrees for it to calculate your index. So, if it's below 80, it doesn't do anything for you. But if it's above 80, it's a free app that you can click on. So, folks, that's all I've got. I don't have any other things to add to that. Just moving to summertime, starts to warm up. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Comments or get some clarification on that buying cattle thing with your richest lakes in your movement. I can really use some guidance on that. I'm not sure how that works, but thanks again. Make sure you sign the sign-in sheet. Have a good day.